Right, welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Now, yesterday, Eskom released its financial statements for the past financial year. The annual results reflected an 83% year-on-year decline in company profits. And this is all happening at the most critical time when Eskom is experiencing financial and reputation crisis. Now, the entity has confirmed that its former acting CEO, Matsela Koko, will face a disciplinary hearing. The utility also said that it won't be commenting on Brian Molefe's multi-million rand pension payout as the matter is before the courts. Joining us now for more is Eskom's CFO, Anoj Singh. Thank you very much for joining us, Anoj, and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, so, help us understand. You've got the revenue side is increasing and your net profits are down 83%, which means something happened in the expenses line. What went wrong?
Well, thank you, Peter. I think certainly the 83% decrease in profits was not unexpected. It is certainly something that we've expected. It is something that we've included in our plans going forward. The decrease in profit emanates from an increase in depreciation as well as an increase in interest costs. The reason for those increases are the new build program, being Medupi and Kusile. As the units in the new build program come on stream, you will find that there will be an increase in depreciation as a result of the high value of the new assets that are coming on stream.
And the financing costs, so this is with junk status, we've borrowed more money to build, and so the paying back, that's where the finance cost item comes through.
Yes, I think certainly, the junk status doesn't impact us that dramatically as yet. I think we've always been junk on a standalone basis, or sub-investment grade as a standalone basis for Eskom on its own. So from that perspective, the investors have factored that into account when we borrow. The increase in interest costs, as you quite correctly say, is a result of the borrowings that we've incurred for the new build. However, the increase in the interest expense is as a result of an IFRS requirement that interest incurred during a asset's construction period is capitalized to the cost of the asset. And once that asset comes into operation, you are required to expense that. If you look at the ratios, though, the cash interest cover ratio and so on, all of those take into account the interest that is actually capitalized, and you don't see a sharp deterioration on those ratios that the rating agencies actually look at.
So what is our cash position at Eskom? The balance sheet is a point in time. Has anything happened post the balance sheet to suggest that we're cash strapped and that we should be concerned?
I think certainly not at this stage, Peter. We have, with the cash on hand, together with the committed facilities that we have and the loan agreements that we've signed and committed, we have pretty much secured 77% of our requirements or borrowing requirements for the new financial year, which is around 70 billion. So we have committed facilities around 50 billion thus far already. The auditors obviously look at the going concern position of the organization at each balance sheet date, and they haven't raised any concerns at this stage. So barring any unforeseen circumstances that we're not aware of thus far, we should be able to get through the year without any liquidity issues.
All right, let's look at some of the line items, because the results were delayed by a week because of audit concerns. Have they been resolved?
Yes, certainly. The delay in the results was as a result of the qualification that the auditors have raised. It does not relate to the IFRS numbers in any way, shape or form. So those are fairly stated in terms of IFRS. It was relating to PFMA disclosure that emanated from the procurement environment. So the contract management, document management and consequence management issues relating to the procurement environment needs to be addressed, and we've put in a robust plan to be able to address them.
All right. So 3 billion rand in irregular expenditure. How do we explain that to South African taxpayers?
Yes, I think certainly it's an area of significant concern for us as Eskom, as a state-owned company. And as I said, the plans that we've put in place address those specific issues.
How did it happen, Anoj?
The irregular expenditure is not defined as fruitless and wasteful expenditure, which is obviously a much more serious category of a PFMA contravention.
But compliance is also serious.
Exactly, and hence we're saying that the compliance to policies and processes is something that we have to focus on. I think when the chief executive deliberated yesterday, as well as the chairman, I think they stressed the emphasis that we are actually as an organization going to place on not only compliance but governance as well.
So you guys are getting paid bonuses. Why should we pay you bonuses when your profits are down 83%? If you were listed on the JSE, your shares will be in a tailspin right now and people would be fired. Do you deserve bonuses?
Well, I think certainly we do. I think the bonus criteria looks at the EBITDA generation of the company, and the reason for that is because EBITDA is a quasi representation of cash, and you will see that cash generated from operations is about 46 billion. It's increased by 23% year on year, and rating agencies are really concerned about the ability of the entity to generate cash, because that is really what would be used to repay the debt.
You got 2 million last year, and a lot of people say, you know, we're living in a society where this inequality between the rich and poor, isn't that flying in the face, especially with a state-owned entity, that one person would get 2 million rand as a bonus?
Well, I think, you know, 2 million rand on an entity as big as Eskom, I think if you compare that to the JSE listed companies, I think that will be relatively small when you compare it to the bonuses that the JSE listed companies or the banks get, for example. So I think from that perspective, I think it's a reasonable comparison in terms of being able to justify the 2 million rand.
But they're not having minus 83% profit drama.
Well, again, I think an entity such as Eskom, I think is not directly comparable to listed entities on the JSE. I think we have...
But you're comparing your bonus to them.
Exactly, but I don't think they then have regulators that effectively cut their increases to 2%, their revenue increases to 2% per annum either. So I think that's also something that needs to be taken into account. And also the new build program, I think, is a significant investment in the infrastructure of the country, which, you know, with the returns that we currently have, I don't think the private sector would be undertaking.
All right, we'll carry on chatting a little bit more just after this break, so stay with us.